Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video is actually on the 55th day of the year, by the way, which if you take a step back, you look around, you listen to what's happening out there, it has already proved to be a beautiful, staunch frickin' day. But unlike others out there, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a European game to break down and discuss in today's video. And if it's anything like last week, what a ride that's going to be. But as we are waiting on a queue to get on that ride, it's time to be cheap and it's time to be cheeky. But just in case you haven't done so already, please consider helping the channel out by hitting that subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you a penny, it just helps us all on our way to the ultimate dream, which is 55 frickin' K. Now with that being said though, it is time for business, and as always we will start off with the old oppositional preview and have an important wee look / update on a team that just 7 days ago gave every one of us right here on this channel a hell of a lot more grey hairs. And you know, son, despite it being just a week ago since we last played them, there is a couple of things we actually need to break down and discuss for today's video and actually go over, because it directly impacts the game tomorrow. The first one is going to be how did they respond to the game, because that's always very telling when you look at players and you look at teams. How do they respond to bumps in the road? Because if you look at our season so far, we've kind of based our season on the ability to bounce back, get back on that horse and go away riding, because every single time we've had a bump we've went back to winning ways. Well, how did this team respond to a bump in the road, which was obviously losing the first game to us just a week ago? Well, they actually came into the weekend and had a very, very disappointing game where they drew 0-0 with the team sitting 15th in the league, only 3 points off the bottom, in a game that can only be described as very, very flat. Which, based on everything we just said a minute ago, is very, very encouraging to see, ladies and gentlemen, to see this team not bounce back, put out a performance, roll the sleeves up, get pissed off and take it out on somebody. That for me is encouraging to see a team just kind of limp out after losing the game in the manner they did on Thursday night last week. However, on this channel we like to go a wee bit deeper than that, and I think one of the most important things that we actually need to talk about isn't necessarily the poor result and the poor performance at the weekend for Antwerp. Nah. It's the fact that they used that game as an opportunity to rest and rotate 4 key players to keep them for the game we have tomorrow. Which to me shows you where their priorities lie, and certainly shows that they believe that they can come to Ibrox and get a positive result, or they wouldn't have sacrificed the league where they are sitting second trying to chase down Club Brugge in order of just going out there and putting out a limp display. They clearly believe with the players that they've rested and rotated that they can come here and hurt us at Ibrox. But it isn't actually the players who was rested and who's going to be fresh coming into this game I want to talk about. Nah. It's another player who did return at the weekend, but he was suspended for our game, and it's going to be the mad striker Zed, who you may recognise the name, you maybe saw online, especially on social media a couple of months ago, because yes, this is the striker who, during his time at Antwerp, wanted to leave the football club. So instead of handling it like a man, he turned up to training wearing the rival's shirt and nearly started a riot. This guy is absolutely bonkers, and if I'm honest, I did speak about him last week saying it was a good thing that he wasn't in this game, because he's just one of these characters and one of these players that just seems to, stuff always seems to happen around him. He's kind of got that Alfredo Morelos effect. You know, when Morelos plays a game, he's always a vocal point, he's always annoying to the defenders, he's always involved in something. Well, this is the exact same with this guy right here. I mean, he got suspended for our game because in the previous game he celebrated by scoring by jumping over the board, right? He climbed over a fence and went and celebrated with the fans. This is the guy we're talking about here, and everything I've been able to find and read in and coming into this game from their side of things, with the media, the fans of Antwerp, are all putting their hopes and dreams on this guy coming up and being once again the maverick for this team, because when he's on his day, he can really sprinkle magic in between the man's madness. And the way he plays and the way he operates is completely different than the striker who started up front for us the last time. Now, that actual striker did score a very good header versus us, but that was mostly down to our horrific marking, in my opinion. But it is a completely difference in quality and movement and running. This is a guy that can get the ball at his feet. This is a guy that can burn people. He's not reliant on people whipping balls in for him. No, he can make his own opportunities. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing to look out for in this game for Balogun, Connor Goldson and Hollander, obviously playing two centre-backs in the right backs, because this guy never stands still. He's always wanting to drift, and he always looks for balls in behind. So that's going to offer us a different test than the one we faced last week. But for me, despite them now being quote-unquote stronger than the last time we faced them, it doesn't necessarily change too much about how the flow of the game will go in terms of our midfield and their attack. Despite them resting a couple of midfield players and welcoming a couple of their key players back into the starting 11 this week versus us, they still play with that ridiculously high line that we spoke about before the game in the preview video, then we actually saw with our own eyes. So despite them strengthening up in a couple of positions, their key weakness and key vulnerability is still there to be exploited. And if I'm honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that's us kind of done and dusted with the old preview. Again, we're not going to dive in too much and break down too much because we played them last week. You saw the preview, we talked about it, and we actually saw it with our very own eyes. We talked about a couple of the most important things, and that is going to be the best striker being back in, them resting and rotating players to keep them as fresh as possible for this game. And regarding this game being at Ibrox now, people are saying, do you think it's going to be that breathless game of football? It was back and forth. Honestly, I said it last week, it was going to be a basketball game, and I'm fully expecting it to be the exact same. And despite them now being stronger in key areas, like I said, they've still got those vulnerabilities, and just the way that they play versus the way that we play in Europe, it's almost a perfect fit for us to take advantage and put this game to bed long before it gets nippy bum time. And that right there actually gives us the perfect transition away from the oppositional preview into what matters most, which is of course Rangers Football Club. And unlike Antwerp, what we talked about earlier on in today's video, we followed up the European game with a performance at the weekend, and it was a performance. Yes, it wasn't necessarily the best start, but after 25 minutes it was the Rangers show, and a couple of players were simply outstanding. They're just getting better and better, and I think that is what should be getting talked about ahead of this game. How good the Rangers team actually is. Because when you look outside, ladies and gentlemen, there is so much distractions and so much stuff happening and just so much excuses that's been spat out to why this Rangers team is doing what it's doing this season. And for me, all those excuses and all those reasons are absolutely bollocks, because we've witnessed this with our own eyes over the years, the evolution of this Rangers team. They've put in the hard yards, ladies and gentlemen. They've took gut punch after gut punch. They've been laughing stocks. They've had pundits. They've had everybody point at them and laugh at them as other teams have been successful. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we have took that time. We've took those punches. We've took those hard yards, and we've learned and we've grown and we've matured as a side to the point to where we are right now, running away with league football. To go out there and put performance after performance and get result after result in European football as well, which can't be understated, ladies and gentlemen, because it wasn't so long ago that we were literal laughing stocks in Europe, getting beat off teams that's never won before. But then Steven Gerrard and the coaching staff came in to this football club and put the hard work and the effort and the grind over the years to build us per block up and up to where we are right now. Not only topping a European group stage undefeated, by the way, but now having an opportunity again at home to qualify deeper in a European knockout competition. That right there is outstanding, and it should be the focal point of every conversation coming in to this game, because they deserve that. Yet somehow coming into this game of football, despite scoring 4 away European goals, there's still questions about this Rangers team. There's still disrespect there about this Rangers team, which to me is absolutely baffling. Yes, this tie isn't over. Yes, this Antwerp side is a very good side who are capable of coming here and getting a result. Yes, they are a very good team, but so are we, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all I wanted to say. And now that I've got that off my chest, I do feel a wee bit better, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. But as we mentioned during the oppositional preview, we talked about they're getting a couple of their players back. They've rested a couple of players, and they have their star man coming back. Let's flip it over then and talk about the Rangers team news and injury updates, because unfortunately it isn't great news coming into this game. The first one is going to be the fact that Ryan Jack is officially ruled out of this game. Now, it isn't a muscle tear or anything like that, which was obviously first feared, but it is muscle bleeding, so he will be missing for the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is a blow, because his defensive awareness was there to be seen when he was subbed on in the last game, because this guy came on the park, shored things up defensively, and made a goal line clearance or a goal line block, whatever you want to call it. He stopped a goal being at the right place defensively, because that is how he actually thinks. So he isn't in the game of football, but it isn't all just bad news, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm trying to go on as quickly as possible because you know that hurts me, what I just said there. But we do have some good news regarding Tavernier, who again got a positive update regarding when he will be returning to the squad. It isn't anywhere near as serious as first feared, and he will be back again, but at the same time as Ryan Jack, actually 2 to 3 weeks, and the same stands of course for Roofe, who we mentioned in the previous video as well. So you look at that and you have the fact that Tavernier isn't out for the season, he's not out for 6 to 8 weeks, the fact that he's only there for 2 to 3 weeks, that's how you perk us up a little bit and get us excited. And you know what's crazy about this Rangers team, ladies and gentlemen? What we have just said, Ryan Jack, Tavernier and a player like Roofe won't be in our team for a knockout game in Europe, but yet I'm still sitting here confident and I've still got belief that this Rangers team at this level in Europe can still go out there and do a job. And that for me says everything about the job that's been done at Rangers and the strength and depth that we have now at this football club. And I think that right there is the perfect place to end this preview. We know it's going to be a back and forth type game. It is going to be a mad one. But again, like we mentioned earlier on in today's video, how we set up and the options we have from centre-back Connor goes into Ryan Kent and the players that we can exploit against their high line. It's all spelling out to be yet another incredible game. They've rested players. They've brought people in. They've got players back. They're going to be going gung-ho. But it's at Ibrox. We defend our home. It's going to be Clash of the Titans, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just hope it's not as mad as last week. I'll take an easy 2-0. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the oppositional preview. That is the Rangers conversation. And that is the latest Rangers team news. Now, it's time to take all that and try to predict the unpredictable. Hopefully you're getting involved down there in the comment section, sharing your opinion on today's video and the old prediction on. Whilst you guys do that, I will give you mine very, very briefly. I'm expecting that again all afternoon, but I do think the scoreline will be a wee bit more comfortable for us. I shouldn't say comfortable because I'm still going to go 1 goal in between it, but I think it'll be much better defensively from Rangers because that's something Steven Gerrard has been stressing ahead of this game, getting back to doing what we do defensively. So I think the final score is going to be Rangers 2, Antwerp 1, and I do think the goal scorers will come from Alfredo, Frick and Morelos, and the way Ryan Kent is looking and the fact that this is at home with them piling people forward, I think it could be a Ryan Kent afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And with that being said, that's us all officially done and dusty with today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it enough to be hitting a like button. If you did, get involved in the comment section. I'll be seeing you very, very shortly. But until tomorrow, after the game, take care of yourselves, everyone. All the best. Thank you for watching. And just like Neil Lennon said to the Celtic fans today, bye.